Hi there. I see that a lot of you are struggling with the whole bounding box concept of latitude, longitude. It's really not just, it's not good practice to define a large area by a single lat long. I think I've said to some of you, defining a region or a country or even a continent by a single lat long is akin to using your mailing address to define the location of the United States. It's just not right. So what I want to do is show you a little video on how to do it. Some of you have used the Bounding Box tool, this Bounding Box website. Some of you have not. It's really not all that difficult to do. You just need to maybe need a little instruction on how to do it. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So when you start the website, when you get to the website, it's centered here in Switzerland. It's made by a company in Switzerland, so they've put this box around Switzerland. But what you can do then is zoom out and see some other parts of the world. If you hold your left mouse button down, you can drag the map around. So in this case, let's make a bounding box of Western Europe. As you can see in the bottom left corner, there's a whole bunch of options here on how your bounding box is going to look, how your lat long is going to come out. The easiest one to work with is archives. So if you select archives down here, that's going to give you the easiest to read answer. Um, what we can do now is you can either make a box, which is not terribly accurate, and that's what you see here. You see a box. And sure, we can cover England and Ireland and then stretch it out so that we get the south of France and as um, far east as the edge of the Czech Republic. But that includes a bunch of areas that we don't necessarily want, such as northern Italy and some of the Balkans down here and Denmark, which are in part about half of Poland, which are not really part of Western Europe. So what we can do instead is go up here to the upper left corner and you see the polygon tool. So let's click on the polygon tool, and what you're going to do now is just make a series of dots to surround the area that you're interested in. So in this case, we'll start up here in the north of Scotland and put a dot down, click. We'll click out here, click down past Ireland. We'll come down here to the south of France, and where Spain and France join, across the Pyrenees, and then up here to the French-Italian border, up to Switzerland, kind of across Switzerland. You don't have to be super accurate. You just have to include the areas that you want. This part is Austria. We'll include the Czech Republic, which is part of it. And if you need a reference to what it looks like, you can also just look at the map of the world. So here's the map of the world, and as we can see up here, Western Europe includes Ireland, England, France, Switzerland, Austria, the Czech Republic, and Germany. So we can use that as a reference, and we can even zoom in closer if we want. This is Wiley figure G14 from your book. So you can look at that and go, this is what Wiley defines as Western Europe. Note that Denmark is not in it. Okay, so we're going to minimize that and go back to our map. It's still working. So we'll click here on Germany. We'll cut across Denmark. And then we'll get to where we started and double click. And that completes our polygon. And I can zoom in and out on it. I can move it around. I can take a snapshot of it, for that matter, just say this is my region. But if you look down here where it says GPS, it gives you some coordinates. Okay, the first two coordinates are the latitudes. So it shows you the farthest north, which is 59 degrees 27 minutes north, which is up here at the north of Scotland. And then the furthest south is 42 degrees 23 minutes south, which would be down here at the Mediterranean border of France and Spain. And then you've got two longitudes. It gives you the furthest west, which is 10 degrees 32 minutes west here on the west coast of Ireland. And then the furthest east part of the bounding box, 18 degrees 51 minutes east here at the very eastern part of the Czech Republic. I'm sure you remember, or maybe you don't, but the prime meridian is this line right here. It runs through Greenwich, England. It's where Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, comes from. Greenwich is where the Royal Observatory was in London. It still is in London. And that's 0 longitude. So anything to the west is west longitude, the western hemisphere. Anything to the east is east longitude, the eastern hemisphere, all the way around to 180 degrees east or 180 degrees west, which is in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and that would be the international date line. So that's one way to do a bounding box. Another way we could do it, though, is to go to Google Maps. So let's go maps.google.com. Now we want to go to Google, not Doodle. Okay, here we are. We're here in Nevada, so let's go to Europe. Let's search for Europe. And there we go. So we can zoom in on this a little bit. And another way to do this, potentially easier for some of you, potentially harder, we can just right-click on a part of the world. Like we know the northern part of the UK is the northern part of where our bounding box is going to be. We want to have the most northerly latitude. So I right-clicked on this and said, what's here? Now, down here at the bottom, you'll see what's here. It gives you a latitude and a longitude. And latitude always comes first, longitude comes second. So in this case, it's 58.8 degrees north. Now, this is in degrees, decimal degrees. This is a good way you can do math on this. I don't care which way you do it, but as long as you have a degree and a remainder. So in this case, 58.8 degrees north is your most northerly point. So you can write that down, close that, and we remembered our most southerly point was down here at the Mediterranean border of France and Spain. So again, right-click, what's here, and the latitude is 42 degrees, 0.44 degrees north. So those are our two latitudes, our southernmost latitude here in at the Mediterranean border of France and Spain, and then our northernmost latitude up here in the north of Scotland, 58.8 degrees. Okay, and then we can go ahead and say our most westerly point is here on the coast of Ireland, the west coast of Ireland. Again, what's here? And you can see over here it says minus 10.37 degrees longitude. In this case, minus means west. So minus equates to west. Positive is east. So it's approximately 10.4 degrees west longitude is our most westerly point. And then if we come over here to the most easterly part of the Czech Republic and click what's here, we will get a longitude of 18.75 degrees. That is our most easterly longitude. So those 2 points define the east and west part of our bounding box. So those are 2 ways that you can do it, and I want you to start doing it this way. Like I said, if you define, let's say, I'm going to click on a point roughly in the middle of Western Europe, and we'll call it, say, here in Luxembourg. What's here? And here's the latitude, longitude. Well, does that really define Western Europe? It doesn't. You don't know how many miles south that goes. You don't know how many miles north that goes, east or west that goes. That's just a lat long somewhere in the middle, and that does not define a region. If you're going to define a region that way, you have to give distances and directions from that center point to where the boundaries of that region are. So this might be a better way for you to do it is to use the Google Maps method, where you right click and go what's here, and that'll give you a lat long. Or you can go to the bounding box tool and draw a polygon around it. If your area is generally square, like for example, suppose we wanted to say Spain and Portugal is the region that we were gonna do. Let's change our map and drag some corners around. Spain and Portugal are pretty much square. So we could draw you could do something like this, and that would pretty much define Spain and Portugal. We'd have a north, south, east, and west, but it's not as accurate as it could be. So anyway, I recommend you use the polygon method, or you can use the box method, or you can use the Google Maps, right-click what's here, lat-long method. But I want you to use one of them and stop using single lat-longs to define anything larger than a city. Okay? Hope that clears things up, made things better for you. If not, please feel free to email me, and I'll see if I can figure out another way to explain it to you that makes the light bulb come on. That's my job. That's the fun part about teaching. Um, is making the light bulb come on for your students. That's all I got. I hope this helped you. We'll talk to you later.